started again. Read a few verses and then she sat and meditated. So, yeah. Also, Geshe Tenzin Zopa, he usually advises groups who don't have teachers to take the Lamrim Temo and this text, to use these two texts, go through it in a group, in a study group, again and again and again. If you have questions, write them down, and when next time the teacher comes, then asks. So, because these two texts have so many blessings in them, they're very, very powerful. Okay, so, and should others for even a single moment hinder or obstruct his wholesome deeds, like the deeds of a Bodhisattva, by weakening the welfare of all, there will be no end to their rebirth into lower states. So it's kind of a bit like the stick, hey, don't do any harm to a Bodhisattva. So it's not meant for you to think, I become a Bodhisattva, then the others get really punished when they harm me. It's not like this. It's for us to know. We don't know who is a Bodhisattva. So what it means, just in case, just be kind to everybody. Yeah, that's all. Because if you harm somebody who is on the path to help all sentient beings, then again you harm all other beings kind of indirectly with them. If or even my mind is impaired by destroying the joy of even one creature, then what need is there to mention destroying the joy of creatures vast as space? So Yora said in the photocopies this is missing. So this is why. Just listen, I read it out once more time. For if my being is impaired by destroying the joy of even one creature, then what need is there to mention destroying the joy of creatures vast as space? So again, it's the same thing as we said before. If we hinder a Bodhisattva, it's very harmful because we deceive all beings. If we give up the Bodhisattva vows, we kind of let everybody down, and so that goes into in the same direction. Just by letting one person down, already it is negative karma once you have made a promise, and so therefore be careful, because you let everybody down when you hinder the work of a Bodhisattva. Those who have the force of bodhicitta as well as the force of falling from it stay revolving within cyclic existence and for a long time are hindered in reaching the Bodhisattva levels. This for Giti. Yeah. So, we have the choice of being circling in samsara and circling and circling and circling, going from high to low, or maybe slowly coming up again, but very easy to go low, to go to the lower states. So why not kind of stay on that Bodhisattva path? Yeah. But you also need wisdom, so this is why you have like the wisdom of emptiness. You have to choose the two things. And in order for you to help that, then you have to stay on the Bodhisattva path, you have these very nice texts that are short, quite easy to understand, which are called Lojong, mind training, by the Tibetan masters. Chekava, Lamritangpa, Atisha, Dogma Zampo, the 37 practices. Yeah, so there you have very clear instructions how to keep on it. Yeah, and then we do, and this is what we're going to do tonight, one does what is called Tonglen. Mentally you exchange yourself for others, you give them all your happiness and you take their suffering. Yeah.
So verses 10 and 11 are explanation for 9, because in 9 it says how severe it's if you damage a Bodhisattva.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it explains why. Because even if you...
I think 11 is for us again. Like those, okay. Those who have the force of bodhicitta but don't use it.
If someone
as well as the force of falling from it.
So if someone damaged Bodhisattva, if someone hurted a Bodhisattva, like in verse 9, if someone does something to hurt a Bodhisattva and causes him to fall down,
yeah, so that's very heavy,
severe. So
very severe karma.
Is it okay to read these two
as an explanation of 9? Yeah, well, I think so.
Think about.
Yeah. But also, like 10, also is like what Pema Chodron explains. Is like if we do with the intent, we kind of we destroy the happiness of one person, then we also hurt ourselves. So, being nasty, it might bring you short-term benefits, but then at the end we really feel rotten. Yeah, but sometimes we are nasty and we are totally self-concerned, and then at the end we regret it or something like that. Doesn't make us feel good. Whereas a kind action, you can remember your whole life, and it will make you feel good. It's like a magic stone. You need to rub it, and poof, and the light comes. Yeah. So this is why, whenever you feel low about yourself, and somebody comes and says, "Yeah, but you remember you were so kind to me at that time. It was so helpful," and it immediately comes up. Sometimes we don't trust our own goodness, so we need other people to tell us. Yeah. So like this. So then, I think 10 and 11 is for us. The way she explains it here, it's like being nasty to somebody that doesn't make us feel good. Then abandoning the well-being of everybody. There's no question that it makes us feel worse. So then Shantideva is actually telling us that we should think about law of cause and effect in these two verses. Yeah. Right. You can use it both ways, I think. To really warn. Be careful whom you are, what you're doing. Because we had one nun that she was a bit nutniki, but also she had some realizations. But because she was so nutniki, then everybody got upset. And so the director of that center, he was just about to. It was during Lama Yeshe's time. He was just about to go down to her where she was living at Tushita in one of the A-frames, and he was angry, and Lama Yeshe stopped him and said, "Be careful what you're saying, because you don't know whom you're talking to." And we should actually have that with everybody. Be careful what you're saying, you don't know whom you're talking to. Again, in worldly terms, for example, you're very nasty to somebody. Yeah, and you're on your way to the dentist because that guy, he took your parking spot because you saw it first, so it's mine because I saw it first, but he took it. And you're really not, you shout at the bird, you come in, it's the dentist. Yeah. How would you feel? I think my toothache is gone. Because if that dentist is not realized, he'll go, I'll show that one. That's what I mean. We never know whom we're talking to. We never know. So even in worldly terms, this is actually quite a good advice. To be careful what we are doing.
Actually, what's written in verse 11, it's what you said before. I have the potential to go on to Buddhahood. I also have the potential to fall down. I have two options only. Staying inside your essence or get out of it. What do you want? Which one do you choose? So better continue.
Yeah, you have a choice. Okay, so 12, abandoning non-virtue. Here goes especially about karma. That we think about the consequences of our karma, of our actions. Therefore, just as I have promised, shall I respectfully accord my actions. If from now on I make no effort, I shall descend from lower to lower states. So again, it talks about promises. A promise that should help us. Promise that is these two wheels that keep us on the path. Then we fall to lower and lower states. So there's another story. I have a friend, Chosan. He was a teacher at TCV. He had 3 tulkus. These 3 boys were proven reincarnations. So the first one, is a long story and it starts to get late, but anyway, the first one was a Lama in Darjeeling, and so the private office sent a letter, said there is signs that your first son is that Lama, and so they found out, and yes, it was. So they went to Sarah, of course, and he studied, and then his second son, when he went to visit his bigger brother, in Sarah, and he climbed on the throne in the Gompa. This little, and the Joseon said, "Come down, come." He was so embarrassed, you know. This little one was just sitting there, and so it turned out he was the ex-abbot of Sarah, that second one. So he said I had to give him 10 rupees so that he came down. See, you can bribe Bodhisattvas. And then the third one, when his mom spanked his bottom, he looked around and said, "Mama, don't do this to me. Again, you don't know who I am."
Whoa. Which age?
Huh?
How old
was he?
About 5 or something. You don't know who I am. Turned out that he's also Tulku. So that family must be very, very pure. That man and that woman, that they had 3 Tulkus. So of course, as a Westerner, you think, 3 children and none of them could stay at home. You know, this is how we think. Because they give them away. They go to the monastery very small. But for them, it's like it's a great honor, and they feel very honored that this realized being took their body to be reborn, used their body to be reborn, and it's a lot of merit. Yeah, so I'm not saying it's a very good system, because they are too young very often when they're being taken away. But still, it's not as bad as one thinks in the West. Because I remember those people tell me about this Gilgul. You see it like you see one scene where he cries, one, and the whole kind of thing goes on that scene of the Jewish mothers. How can they take this little boy away? In all the other scenes, he's pretty happy, except for when he has to shave his head, because it does hurt. Of course, you should see him now. He's so nice. I mean, it's like, and they're quite terrible when they're young, by the way, because they don't have fear. They don't have any fear. So they're unstoppable sometimes. And they scream when they don't get what they want. They're not so easy children. So if you make strong prayers, may I have a tulku? Think about it. They're not so easy to keep, and you have to usually you give them away, or they go away by themselves after a while. Because they're not there to make you as a mother happy, they're there to make all beings, or many beings happy. Okay, 11, 12 we have. Then 12. Therefore, just as I have promised, shall I respectfully accord my actions. If from now on I make no effort, I shall descend from lower to lower states. So again, it's this fear thing. Yeah? Where do I want to go? I have a choice. Do I want to go to lower states, or do I want to go out of samsara? Yeah? So again, very clear. It's like, yes, it's fear, but it's helpful fear. Or it's like, but don't forget, he's talking to himself. So I made this promise. So I have to take care of my actions, because otherwise I go from lower to lower. Although for the benefit of every creature, countless Buddhas have passed by, yes, I was not an object of their care because of my own mistakes. So many Buddhas have already appeared. Because it's beginningless time, but then I'm still in samsara, so it means I'm not the best of the best. So when it says here it says of their care. It says, yes, yet I was not an object of their care because of my own mistakes. Here it says, I was not an object to receive their blessings. Mm-hmm. What does it say in your other translation? So this is very good to compare sometimes.
So this is chapter 4, 12? 12.
Yeah, 13.
13. Innumerable Buddhas have gone by, seeking out every sentient being, but through my own fault, I have not come into the domain of their cure.
Okay. So it's a bit different from what it says here.
It's the same idea, all three.
It's the same idea. Here it says, oh, but the Buddhas didn't care for me. This is what it says here.
I wasn't object, but because of my own mistakes, okay.
Yeah, I was not an object of it because of my own mistakes. Yeah. So, but still, here it's like quite, I was close to the blessings. I didn't want to listen. That's why they couldn't help me. So Alex Person uses a very good example. You know, the radio waves are all the time there, still now. I mean, it's like it's also changing. Soon we'll have to have Wi-Fi waves or something like that. But radio waves are all-pervading. Wi-Fi is not as all-pervading as radio waves. Okay? But if your radio is not on, You don't hear anything.
No.
So how do we switch on the radio? So to receive the blessings of the Buddha.
Make aspiration, like the Buddha,
Calling the Buddha from afar.
Devotion, trust. Yeah. So when they can help us is because they have finished the path. So Bodhisattvas, they make promises on the path. I will be this, I will be that, I will have that ability and this and this and this. So they're able to do these things from their own side. But if we don't have the right karma and if we're not open, we don't receive anything. Yeah, so this is what it says here. Just to be, it kind of encourages us just to be open. 14. And if I continue to act like this again and again, I shall undergo suffering in unhappy realms, sickness, bondage, laceration. What on earth is laceration? And the shedding of blood. Maybe to cut into pieces, yeah. In German it's clear. Because I have the German text here. So again. So he is kind of appealing to take really care of our habitual.
The other translation says amputation.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Here it says cutting into pieces. Hacked into pieces and cut into pieces, here it says. And similar kind of suffering. So he's telling us that somehow the habitual tendencies are getting unnoticed. So that we really have to take care of that. Especially when we are being, when we are being criticized or like our habitual reactions like this. Our habitual reaction is like we complain, or we start to scream back, or we start to cry, or we become arrogant, or we feel like worthless. Yeah. So these strategies with which we look for security in order to avoid unpleasant things are increasing our tensions. So somehow we know that, still it is as if we are addicted to them. Yeah, so this is why he uses, I think, these very strong examples. Because if you're smoking and you want to stop smoking, you really have to think about the damage that it is making. Whatever you're addicted to, you really have to think again and again and again and again and again about the damage that it's making. Otherwise, you'll never be able to be strong enough to give it up. You will not wake up one morning and your addiction is gone. You have to work very actively against it. And I think these verses are helping us to do that with fear. Yeah. This is why, like on the packets of cigarettes, I don't know if you have it in Israel. I mean, in France, you have all these pictures of people with lung cancer. Really, wow, horrible. But still people smoke. Still people smoke. Because why? Because of habit. Very, very, very strong habits. And our very strong habitual reactions to criticism or not getting what we want and all this, this is like kind of what is dragging us further and further and further down. Because we don't give ourselves the choice to change. Like we know it's not satisfying, still we repeat it again and again and again and again. So now here awareness comes in, the awareness that should be like a guardian and prevents us from doing the same mistake again and again and again. Yeah. Because by making the mistake again, we strengthen the tendency. This is the problem. So we can see how we are being caught in the trap, and how we again and again and again follow what is called shempa, this urge to do something, even though we know intellectually that it's not a good thing to do. Did you want to ask something?
Just make a comment, because I never thought about it, but if we're here for countless eons, infinite time, and it says that there were countless Buddhas, So it makes sense that the vast majority of beings are already liberated because it's infinite time, and whoever is still left, we are like the worst of the worst.
We are. We're called the dregs. You know what the dreg is? We're called the dregs.
Yeah, it's amazing. Because
You
maybe
know, so
almost
many Buddhas
everybody-
have come and we're still here.
Oh, there's
And
still
sometimes
many.
I think maybe you're all Buddhas and I'm the only one, and for my sake you're sitting here listening to me patiently so that I create the merit to finally also attain enlightenment. You're doing it for my sake. Huh?
Infinite time. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. And we're still
related.
here.
And we're far.
Well, there's others who are much more far than we are. We're not that far, but this is why we're called. We are the dregs. You know what is left in the barrel when you do the dregs.
Very humbling.
Yeah. So also you shouldn't be too demanding on ourselves. Because we're the dregs, so what can we do? But we're on the path. This is this other thing. Okay, this time we got to, and now this is why now. See, this room gets us down. Now comes Shantideva again and says, if the arising of a Tathagata, faith, the attainment of a human body, and my being fit to cultivate virtue are scarce, when will they be one again? So it says, a Tathagata has appeared. We're here, I have faith in this, even though I'm a bit scared, but I have some faith, I have some interest, and I have a human body, he continues afterward, I have a human body, so when else will I do that again? You know, if I don't do it now, when will I do it again? Then 16, although today I'm healthy, well nourished and unafflicted, life is momentary and deceptive, the body is like an object on loan for but a minute. So he's kind of urging us on. A Buddha has appeared. I have faith. I'm well fed. I'm more or less healthy. If I don't do it now, when? So even though, yes, I'm the dregs of the dregs, but okay, now. Okay? So there you see the skill in how he builds this whole thing up. First about poem, and then again, but. See, he uses a lot of yes buts, but he uses the yes buts to kind of to encourage us. We use the yes buts to, yes but is too difficult, like that. Yeah? So it talks about precious human rebirth. This is a nice verse, this one also. Okay. So precious human rebirth. We have exactly the conditions and the causes that it needs to be able to develop bodhicitta. We see the benefit of it, as we said today, there is some disadvantage, but long term there's definitely benefit. Some of us have devotion to the Buddha, we see the suffering of the others, some of us have the opportunity to have the inspiring presence of a master, so even if that's not your guru, but still you can see the Dalai Lama, you can listen to the Dalai Lama, or all these other gurus, and we are not afraid to walk the path. This is why you're still here, because you're tired, but you're still here. You came to this last session, you know. And I was talking to Shoshana today. I said it's really amazing that most of you have been to India. So I can see that people have been to India. It's much easier for them to continue with practicing the Dharma. Somehow, I don't really know why exactly, but maybe there is some blessing in this country because that's where the Buddha attained enlightenment, and you've done a longer course where you were surrounded by many people and you were living in a community that is practicing that, so it doesn't become so exotic. You know, here it's very exotic, this whole thing.
But also the reason why certain people were attracted in the first place to go there.
What?
Some people decided to go there for a while, others did not. So there were a reason for it.
Yeah, well,
So
of course. Why did you go to India and not to South America? That's usually the choice that Israelis make, isn't it? India, is it this way or that way? So, yeah. So there is some predisposition, is already there, that made you go to India. Okay. So then this precious human rebirth is like a dream. It just, it goes very quickly, so we want to make good use of it. Yeah, so we'll do a short bodhicitta, tongue length meditation. If you, it's good to stand up, stretch your legs. If you need to go pee-pee, go pee-pee. It won't last long. So then again, as I said, if there's a long queue, then go to the first rooms there. Even if it's not your room, it's okay.